All my dear doctors, I welcome you to the Kids Covery. I am Dr. Parfrutra and I'm your faculty of Pediatrics. Let's quickly start with the very important and fantastic topic. This topic is actually important because every examiner is fond of asking this, the Meckel's diverticulum. Okay, Meckel's diverticulum. Understand what is Meckel's diverticulum. So for what is diverticulum, first of all, you should know that what do we mean by the diverticulum. Okay, so can you see diverticulum is actually a blind ending outpouching. This is actually an outpouching, but the end is blind. It is not opening anywhere. So diverticulum means that there is an outpouching which is going to be there. Okay, this is called as diverticulum. Okay, so I've shown you this is the diverticulum. So it's actually, what is the definition? It's a congenital true diverticulum. Why it is called as true diverticulum? Because all the three intestinal layers are going to come. Okay, so congenital true diverticulum, that is mucosa, submucosa, muscularis, everything is going to come. So all the three intestinal layers are going to come. Okay, and why does it happen? It happens because of incomplete obliteration of the Vitelline duct. Which is nothing but a Omphalomesenteric duct. I think I've got a picture also of this. Let me just show you. So what happens actually is, so for example, this is a gut wall and this is the abdominal wall and this is the umbilicus. So there is a connection in the embryological period which is called as Vitellointestinal duct. And once the baby is coming out, this is going to get obliterated. There will be no connection. But what happens in some case, that it is going to get obliterated from this end, but the obliteration does not end from this end, and this is still dilated. Okay, so this dilatation is actually what we call it as diverticulum. Okay, diverticulum. This is an outpouching. Can you see it's an outpouching, but it is blind from one side, that is not opening into anything there. Okay, so it's a congenital true diverticulum containing all the three intestinal layers and occurring because of incomplete obliteration of the Vitelline duct. Okay, so before I come to anything else, I just want you to know this rule of two. So this Meckel diverticulum is seen in the male to female ratio of 2:1. Then it is 2 feet from the ileocecal wall. It is, so for example, here is the gut is having the ileocecal wall. So it is approximately 2 feet. The most common location is 2 feet away from the ileocecal wall. It is 2 inches in the length, and 2% of the diverticulum, they are responsible for showing the complications. Okay, and they have got, so two things I'm going to tell you which you have to just remember, that one thing is it is seen in 2% of the population, and the other thing is that it is seen in have two types of heterotrophic mucosa. What's that, what's not important. Just remember the other things which I have tried to tell you. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation. Okay, this is the diagrammatic representation, and yes, what is going to happen then? So I've told you, it is 2:1. Okay, first of all, the first thing is that it is seen in only 2% of the population. Then male to female ratio is 2:1. Then it is going to be 2 feet away from the ileocecal wall. Then it will have 2 inches. Okay, then what else? It is going to have 2 types of mucosa. So what are the 2 types of mucosa? The gastric mucosa is also going to be there. The pancreatic mucosa is also going to be there. Just remember this. It has got gastric as well as pancreatic mucosa. So what it is going to show? So it is going to show, of course, the bleeding in the stools. Okay, this is going to have bleeding in the stools. Okay, and this Meckel's diverticulum is going to open after the opening of bile duct. So there will be bile in the vomitus. And of course there's going to be pain also. In most of the cases, diverticulum is going to have what? This diverticulum is going to have inflammation, leads to the diverticulitis, and of course the diverticulitis is responsible for causing what? It is responsible for causing pain. So remember this, that M for Meckel's and M for most common. Okay, I think I have given a mnemonic also in the end. Let me see if I've given. Okay, they have forgot to add this. It's okay, I'll write it. M for M for what? M for most common abnormality. So M for what? M for most common abnormality. Okay, and it's a most common congenital abnormality. This you have to understand. Okay, then after that, yes, it's the most common congenital abnormality, GI abnormality. Male to female ratio 2:1 we have discussed. It's actually the blood supply of this outpouching is by the Vitelline artery, which is a branch of superior mesenteric artery, which is a branch of superior mesenteric artery. So it's actually, I'll write it, Meckel's. Okay, so S for the blood supply is superior mesenteric artery, that is going to give a branch which is called as Vitelline artery, which is called as what? It's called as Vitelline artery. Now after that, please understand it has got two type of tissues, heterotrophic tissues. I have told you most common is going to have gastric mucosa, and most common other is going to have pancreatic mucosa. Yes, it is 2 feet from the ileocecal wall, 2 inches long, 2 mucosal type, presence in the first 2 years of life. This is also one extra point you can remember. Usually it is asymptomatic. Yeah, that's true. But if I just tell you that in adults, okay, in children or young adults, it is bleeding, whereas in adults it is going to be obstruction. Okay, so the B and C come very closer. So B for bleeding and C for children. Of course, if it is presenting in adults, it is going to present as an obstruction. In children, most common is bleeding, adults is obstruction. But it leads to what? It leads to intussusception, it leads to volvulus also. And this hernia has been asked like 10 times. What is Litter's hernia? So Litter's hernia is actually a femoral hernia, that is herniation of the Meckel's diverticulum. Okay, so Litter's hernia is the herniation of the Meckel's. So very simple, very easy to remember. I, J, K, L, M. So L, M come very closer. L for Litter's hernia, M for Meckel's diverticulum. So Litter's hernia and Meckel's diverticulum, very important, and it can cause Meckel's diverticulitis also, which is very similar to appendicitis. So what is the best test? The best test is going to be technetium 99 per technetate scan. Technetium 99 per technetate scan. This is important, very, very, very important. See, technetium 99 students still remember, but they forgot per technetate, and this is extremely important. Please don't forget it. Okay, so EC, can you see coming here? EC is also coming in the Meckel's also. So calcium per technate is important. That is going to detect the ectopic gastric mucosa. Okay, that is going to detect the ectopic gastric mucosa. This is important. Okay, please remember other things which we can do is actually the barium studies, the CT, we can do arteriography, we can do, because that's going to show you anomalous SMA branch. Okay, the one branch which is generally obliterated. So I think I've written also that the branch of SMA, that is Vitelline artery, is something which is normally obliterated by 9th week of intrauterine life, but it is not going to get obliterated here, and that's why you will see an anomalous SMA branch. Okay, told you this, the important things. All right, so initially you will have to give IV fluids. Okay, and nasogastric decompression is done if it is obstructed. Okay, if it is obstructed, you put the NG tube, you remove the obstruction. This is how you are going to do it, and the definite part is remove it, diverticulectomy. Okay, you have to remove it, of course, with the anastomosis. So for example, this is the so this is the gut wall, so you just remove it and anastomose this part with this part. So this will be one wall. Okay, so either open or laparoscopic you can do. Okay, and sometimes endoscopic resection is done in the cases of inverted diverticulum. So if it is inverted, we do the endoscopic resection. Okay, so these Meckel's M and S are important. I have told you. This is the picture of your Meckel's diverticulum. All right, I have shown you. Yeah, now this is again the, so see, whenever you perform a technetium 99 per technate scan, it can detect the ectopic mucosa. Okay, it can detect the ectopic mucosa. Ectopic mucosa means any mucosa which is not present at its original site. Ectopic means not present at original site. Okay, it's not present at its original site. So can you see, this is a gastric mucosa. So normally stomach is here. Okay, the pancreas is here, but it is an abnormal stomach and gastric mucosa which is present here. So it can detect the ectopic mucosa, and you can detect the Meckel's diverticulum like that. So thank you so much for watching this video. We will meet you in the next video. Thank you.